Hello, my name is Haruna Umar Aduga from hardtechsoft.com. You're welcome to this video tutorial. This tutorial is actually part of our Cisco Associate Level tutorial course. And in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at Inter-VLAN routing. That's routing traffic between two virtual LANs. Normally, you need two router interfaces to do that. That's another way to look at it. But we're focusing on router on a stick. That's using a single physical interface on a router to route traffic between multiple VLANs by creating sub interfaces. So to begin this, we have a list which we're going to walk through. Let's start with the first one here. We're supposed to test connectivity between users on the network without inter-VLAN routing. That's normally it shouldn't go through because the users are on separate networks. So to help us with that, I have a network here that I designed using the packet tracer simulator. You can actually get this from Cisco's website. The simulator here is a Cisco packet tracer I used to design this network we're going to use. You can see we have two clients that are on separate networks, that's on separate VLANs. This is on 172.20.10.2. The IP address for this network will be .20.10.0. The default gateway is .1 here. This is on a different network. So normally these two PCs should not be able to communicate without any form of routing, since they are on different networks and also on separate VLANs. But what we are going to configure here should help us with that. So the first task on our list is to test for connectivity. To do that, I will go to the command prompt of the first PC here, which is on VLAN 20, to test for the connectivity. First, let's check the IP address of this PC by using the ipconfig command. ipconfig, you can see that this PC has been configured with 172.20.10.2 with a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0 and a default gateway of 172.20.10.1, which is the gateway that will be configured on the sub interface of this router that is assigned to VLAN 20. So to test, all you need to do is ping the IP address of the other user, which is on a separate network. That is 192.168.1.2. If you hit enter, you'll see that it's trying to communicate with this particular computer. Request timeout. It means our ping isn't going through. That's how it should be. It shouldn't go through since they are on separate networks. There should be some form of routing configured. So the next thing we have, the next task we have here is to create VLANs and assign the VLANs created to switch ports. Check when done. We'll use the show VLAN command to check that when we're done creating VLANs. We create VLANs on the switches on this particular switch, so not on the router, we create on the switch. So for us to create VLAN 20 and VLAN 40, I'll go to the console of the switch, press return to get started. This video tutorial is not designed to teach you the basic router configurations. That is being covered in a different video. So we're going to go straight to the point here to configure the VLANs. Enable configure terminal to use the VLAN command, VLAN 20. It means we just created VLAN 20. You hit enter, then you create VLAN 40. So it means we have 2 VLANs. Let's end to see. You can check that using the show VLAN brief command. If you hit enter, you'll see that you have VLAN 20 and VLAN 40, virtual LAN 20 and virtual LAN 40 created. The status is active, but you do not have any interface assigned to either VLAN 20 or VLAN 40. So let's go back to our task. We've created the VLAN and we've checked. Now the next thing we have here on the list is set required switch interfaces to trunk and access modes where necessary. I'll explain that. Then use the show interfaces fast Ethernet 0/1. This fast Ethernet 0/1 is the interface we're using on our switch port. That is, if you check fast Ethernet 0/1, it should show you what mode the interface has been set to, if it's a trunk port or an access port. And that's because our switch here is connecting to the router via fast Ethernet 0/1. So to configure the interfaces, that's to set them into either trunk or access port, this link that is connecting our switch to the router should be connected and configured as a trunk port. That's because you need a trunk port to carry traffic from different VLANs. So we'll go into fast Ethernet 0/1 and connect and configure it as a trunk port, and the interfaces that are connected to the users, that is fast Ethernet 0/2 and fast Ethernet 0/3, should be configured as access ports. So let's get to that. Configure terminal, then interface fast Ethernet 0/1. I think that's 0/1. Then the command to use is, you say switch port mode trunk. Switch port mode trunk. It means it has been set to trunk mode. And let's save our config. Copy, run, start. This command is also part of the basic router configuration commands, one of the commands that you would learn how to use. Right now we are focusing on configuring Inter-VLAN routing. So let's check to see the interfaces we have. We have configured fast Ethernet 0/1 as a trunk port. So we have to configure fast Ethernet 0/2 and fast Ethernet 0/3 as access ports. So all you need to do is config T. We go back to the configuration mode. Interface fast Ethernet 0/2. So switch port mode access. Switch port mode access. Okay, there. Switch port mode access. Yes, I'm trying to check because I think we skipped a step here. We did not assign the VLANs created to switch ports, so we're going to take care of that after this. So switch port mode access, it means fast Ethernet 0/2 has been set to access mode since it's connecting to a client, that's the end user. Switch port mode access. So to set fast Ethernet 0/2 to be a switch port that's on a VLAN 20, what you need to do is you say switch port, use the command switch port access VLAN 20. enter, it means we have assigned fast Ethernet 0/2 to VLAN 20. So exit, you go to interface fast Ethernet 0/3. That's the interface that is connected to VLAN 40. Interface fast Ethernet 0/3. Switch port mode, that's to set it to access mode. Switch port mode, access, then assign it to VLAN 40. Switch port access VLAN 40. So you save that. You either use write, you can use write to save, or copy run start. That's copy running configuration, startup configuration. So we've assigned fast Ethernet 0/2 to VLAN 20 and fast Ethernet 0/3 to VLAN 40. Going back to the task we have here, it means we've done this part of the second item we skipped. Then use show interfaces fast Ethernet 0/1, that switch port, just so to be sure that your interface has been configured as a trunk. That the interface should be configured as a trunk. This interface that is connecting the router and the switch should be configured as a trunk port. So fast Ethernet, the port is 0/1. Let's just confirm to see, just so we're sure. Yes, fast Ethernet 0/1. Fast Ethernet 0/1 switch port. If you hit enter, you will see that right now we have fast Ethernet 0/1. Let me go back. Okay. Fast Ethernet 0/1 switch port enabled, administrative mode, it's set as a trunk. That's how it should be. So we have that configured. So we can check our VLANs, show VLAN brief again to see if our port assignment was done successfully. You can see we have VLAN 20 and VLAN 40, but this time around the difference is we have fast Ethernet 0/2 and fast Ethernet 0/3 assigned to VLAN 20 and 40 respectively. So let's proceed. Shut down. The next item we have is shut down the physical interface on the router and use the no IP address command. The physical interface here on the router is the interface that the cable has been connected to physically, because we're going to be using sub interfaces as the default gateway of the VLAN. So the physical interface here is fast Ethernet 0/0. We're supposed to shut it down and say no IP address, that we are not supposed to assign any IP address on that interface. We are concerned with the sub interfaces. So you hit enter to continue, to return. It's been a while. Okay, enable. Also on the router, we're not going to be bothered with the basic router configuration. That's being covered in a different video. So router, the mode we are in now, let's go to global configuration mode, configure terminal. Let's get to the interface fast Ethernet 0/0. So you use the no shutdown command, then you use no IP address, and let's save. You can just write. So we've done that. Show interface fast. Okay, yeah, no IP. So we create sub interfaces and configure IP addressing on the router. So to create a sub interface, we'll get to the router. We have the IP addresses here already. The way you create a sub interface, okay, we're running low on battery. The way you create the sub interface is to use the fast Ethernet interface. That you go to the interface and you create the sub interface you want to create. Config T, configure terminal, then you create interface fast Ethernet 0/0. That's the physical interface. Let's make it simple, as in let's assign a number that's going to go in line with our VLAN ID. So for VLAN 20, let's say 0.20. If you hit enter, you've created that. Then encapsulation.1q, that's 822.1q for trunking, encapsulation.1q. Then the VLAN ID that associated with this port is VLAN 20. Then you assign the IP address to it, IP address that's going to serve as the default gateway of the clients that connect to this particular network. As you can see here on our packet tracer design, 172.20.10.1, 172.20.10.1 with a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0.0. You hit enter. That's the default gateway for the client. Let's exit. You create the other logical interface, that's sub interface for VLAN 40. We say interface fast Ethernet, same fast Ethernet 0/0, but for VLAN 40.40 it's up. Encapsulation, that's you're making it a trunk port, encapsulation.1q using the 822. That's IEEE 822.1q trunking.1q for VLAN 40.1q40. Your assigned IP address. The address there is 192.168.1.1, which is going to serve as the default gateway for clients that are connected to VLAN 40. So when you're done with that, we can save our config using copy run start. That's copy running configuration to startup configuration file. So let's go back to our list. We have created sub interfaces and we have assigned addresses, IP addresses to the interface. So the last item we have here is to use the good old ping command to test for connectivity between users. Remember, before we started, we tested for connectivity, that's between the users on VLAN 20 and users on VLAN 40, and the ping failed. So now with what we just configured, the pings should go now. So let's test. Let's check to see. The pings should go through now. So on this client that's on VLAN 40, let's check our IP address again. That's the IP address of the PC. IP config. IP, okay, I think I didn't type that well. IP config. You can see that it has a default gateway of 172.20.10.1, which is the IP address that has been assigned to one of the logical interfaces, sub interface on the router. So to check for connectivity again, we'll ping the IP address 192.168.1.2. That's the IP address of a client on VLAN 40, hit enter. So let's see, request timeout. Okay, the first one, that's the app request trying to complete. Eventually it went through. Let's try it again. So you can see that the client on VLAN 20 is now communicating with the client on VLAN 40 after the configuration of the inter-VLAN routing using just a single router interface. This is popularly known as router on a stick. It's actually a very interesting technology to have a single interface handling traffic from separate VLANs. So on your router here, the configurations we have, you can check, use show commands, check just show VLAN. Okay, that should be on the switch. Sorry, show VLAN brief. You can see VLAN 20 and 40 with fast line 0/2 and fast return 0/3 connected to that. It's been assigned to VLANs 20 and 40 respectively with this IP address. It's very obvious that they are on separate networks, but they are able to communicate with proper configuration. So this is actually the end of this particular tutorial. I would like to thank you for viewing. Till we meet again in another video tutorial.